Alright, ladies and germs, I'm going to call your attention. We're going to call this a how not to video. What I have here are two radios. This is a Ranger 696F. Okay, this is a straight 40 channel sideband CB bass. Okay, now here's its big brother. This is a DX2517, and if you look at the main board, okay, they're pretty identical, okay? But now, this is what I'm going to show you, the how not to video. I want you guys to look right here, these diodes, okay? Look at how big and stupid those parts are. Okay, this is a radio that's made to be a single final. There's not even dual finals in it. There's a driver and a final. There's not even the second transistor that goes right here. It's not even in there. Okay, what is the point? Now let's go over here to this DX2517, which is 3 times the channels, 3 times the power from the factory. Here are the same caps, same section. What is the point, guys? You're killing me. What is the point of putting these big dumb storage caps? They didn't do a single thing to the power supply. Nothing. They put a heavier duty transistor here, maybe. But, you know, that's okay. That's not rocket science. That's for show. That didn't do a damn thing. Because this right here can only supply so much current. You guys can change everything under the sun over here and over-engineer it and make it bigger than it needs to be. This is a radio that's made to be twice the freaking power and whatnot that this Ranger 696 has, but they are basically the same board. Okay, you go back and forth here. The only difference is this has got the stupid weather thing on it. But I mean, here we're gonna look at this section and try to get as good as I can. Look at the over engineering of the diodes, these capacitors. What is the point? Now let's go over here. This is a radio that does more than twice the power out of the box. These are the same caps from the factory. Okay, these are the diodes down here from the factory. Okay, now this radio fell on some hard times here. This one did, and we're trying to figure out its AM power regulator circuit. But I'm using it as a comparison. Now, what I'm going to do is here's why I'm going to tell you that everything you're seeing over here on this one is nothing but pure smoke and mirrors. Because, first of all, like I said, let's get to this real. You've seen the difference. These are stupidly over-engineered. They don't belong in this radio. And these diodes, the leads are so big that they literally had to drill the board to put the leads through. Okay, what is the point of this? You didn't do anything over here. The smart thing would be, if you're gonna try to stiffen this thing up, would be to stiffen up this main cap here. Maybe throw some more storage on it. Why are you guys throwing this much extra storage into an AM power regulator circuit? And this is actually the freaking talkback circuit over here. What is the point? Now, the reason I started looking at this radio is this is a 696F that we did a Stinger modification on, and the gentleman brought it back with the Stinger blowed up a week later. And the one thing that we noticed is that when he got this radio, it had a talkback that wouldn't go away, even when you shut it off on the front. So I get to looking at it. Now this one I noticed all this. But now here, first of all, there's nothing else been changed around the final. These are all stock parts, which tells me this is not a MOSFET conversion. This is a standard 2SC2312. But whoever the rookie was that did all this stupid over-engineering for show, because it's not doing anything to help this radio. It can't, because you didn't give it any legs to stand on in the power supply. And even if you had, this is stupid over-engineering. This is not benefiting this radio one iota. All it's doing is mildly altering the way the circuit reacts, but it does not, there's no way that this power supply is going to supply enough current to blow these, these diodes overblow. Now, here's the problem with that. These diodes are here they're made to blow. If for some reason, and it wouldn't happen on this unless you went to make it a DC radio and put it in a car like the old ones were, and accidentally hooked it backwards. This is actually the reversing polarity diode. This thing is there and it's made to fail. It's made to short when this radio gets shorted out or hooked up backwards. Okay? Now, if we put this big stupid diode in here and it doesn't short and stop the current and blow the fuse going to the power supply, it's just going to go ahead and let that backward current rail all the way through the radio. Because it's not getting stopped right here. This diode isn't blowing. And the reason this diode's not going to blow is because this power supply ain't got enough nuts on the face of the planet to blow anything that's over here. If you're going to stiffen up anything in here, you've got to start down here. Why? Okay, when we do our Super Duty conversions, here's one right here. Okay, this is the Cobra 2000 Super Duty. It's got the stinger board in it. We're getting ready to, now what we do is, here's our power supply, here's our stinger board. This radio's been gone through, and it's going to have the stinger board in the bottom, variable power. The external power is 30 amp power supply. That's a 30 amp power switch mode power supply we're putting in here to support the 50 watt board and whatever else we may want to add to the radio, because the power supply in this radio to run the radio itself is engineered and at budget for what this radio does and what this radio should be capable of doing realistically. Now, there are some modifications you can do, but once again, you got to start the power supply, even on this, on anything. So what we're going to do is, guys, basically, now, let me get to the back. First of all, don't sand numbers off of a transistor that any fool can look at and tell you it's one of 2 or 3 transistors. And I can tell you the way this one swings it, it's a 2312. Now, let's get under here. You guys are absolutely freaking killing me with this stuff. I don't know if this camera's going to get it. You're going to have to bear with me. Let me get some light in here. Now, this is the way I got this radio. These are my stinger board loops right here to go out to the stinger. I had to pull the stinger out to work on the radio. But let's take a look down in here. Do you see over here? Do you see in here? And I found it, oh, and right in here, over here. Do you see that little solder ball? They're all over this board. I found them in like 2 or 3 or 4 places. Okay, now here, if you're going to stick a big, stupid diode into a radio, why would you not clip the lead off right at the board? Why are you going to leave that much lead sticking out there for somebody else to come along later and accidentally short that across to something? That's stupid. That's, okay, that's what tells me rookie work. You guys, there's not a lot of, 20 years ago when I was doing this stuff, it was the same game on a different radio. The only difference is now, all these Galaxy radios and Ranger radios, these are all the same board. These are all a 959 board, 2517 board. It's all the same thing from a 919 all the way through. It just depends on what they tap on this main board. But for the most part, except for the PLL circuit on the 2517 and on the 40 channel units, this part of the board is different because it requires the extra PLL chips for the extra channels on the unit when you're buying the 10 meter version of this board. Now that is a little bit different. The PLL circuit is different. The 2517 has 3 PLL chips and a switching circuit. This only has straight 40 channels, single PLL chip, and you can channel this radio if you wish to. But let's get back to this over-engineering stupidity. Okay, if you're going to stick these parts in here, guys, don't leave the leads laying around like that. That's stupid. Okay, this one here is ready to short out against the whole other side of the circuit. Look at how nasty that is. And there is a circuit, it's not even connected. Now that's supposed to be feeding something, and it's been broken loose. So now we're going to have to figure out what that's about. I don't know if that's killing it, but here's the thing. You guys that go online and just get these modifications offline and say, oh, I'm going to go do this to my radio. Okay, well, the book says yank out C76 or clip diode 19. Okay, that's all well and good, guys. Sometimes, when you're hot rodding a radio hardcore, that's not a bad idea. But let's be realistic. If you don't understand what you're doing when you modify a circuit, if you don't understand what's happening when you clip D19. If you don't understand what it's doing to that circuit when you cut it, don't cut it. You may be... Okay, I'm going to give you a classic example. Old Galaxy chassis. Galaxy 88 HML. Over in this section was TR32. Now, what a lot of guys didn't realize was mostly everybody talked on AM, so they'd pull TR32. Modulation would go wide open. That thing would swing its behind off. Okay, problem was, when you went to sideband, there was no sideband control anymore on the RF power control. When you removed that transistor, it removed the control for sideband, which made it a really hard radio to run on an amplifier, which most guys were doing with those chassis. So the proper modification was to short the two outside pins of TR32 and leave it in the circuit so that the center pin could drain back into the sideband circuit somehow, and they still had control. The problem was, everybody said pull out T32. Well, what happened when you pulled T32 out was you totally lost your sideband power control. So back then we figured out how to still manipulate that circuit, but not lose the sideband power control. And the answer was to short the two outside pins of T32 across to each other without shorting the center pin. I forget if it's the emitter or the base, whatever. Bottom line is two outside transistors, the two outside pins of that transistor. I think it's TR32 right here on this one. Somebody's removed it on this one too. It's kind of hard to see down there, but they have. So, and even on these new chassis, TR32. So, look, guys, if you don't understand what you're doing when you clip something or turn something, don't do it. Number two, you do not pay somebody a whole bunch of money to stick oversized. This is all smoke and mirrors, guys. This is not doing a single electronic benefit to this radio whatsoever. It's smoke and mirrors. All this guy did was chrome the valve covers. He put a chrome air cleaner on the intake of the motor. He didn't do nothing to the motor because the motor's down here, and it's the same old damn motor that's running the radio. So this is what we're going to do for this gentleman. I'm going to give him a whole bunch of extra work because he is a damn good customer. And what we're going to do is I'm ripping this power supply out, whoop, which is what I should have done to begin with. Because now the way we're doing these, when we stinger these up for you guys, there's no longer, when we did this one, we had the switch to turn a standby switch so that you can shut the stinger off and drive your amp with the single final. But now what we're doing is we're leaving the stinger engaged all the time. We're tapping into the original RF power control circuit because it's here. These are all the same board, guys. It's here. Learn how to work on it. And we're going to go in here and we're going to manipulate the RF power control the way Galaxy did on the 2517 because it's the same board. Once again, learn what you're working on. Okay, and stop this. This is stupid. Look, one of two things is happening here. This is a secret CB, some kind of internet modification that somebody said, yeah, put all these big dumb parts there, that some bitch will run. Stupid. You didn't understand what you were doing when you did this. You guys are killing me. Stop it. Okay, I'm going to fix this radio. The problem with this radio is after all this stupidity was done, there's a talkback that won't go away. So we're going to get back to that problem. That talkback that won't go away caused our stinger board to go into an oscillation and burn itself up. So now I have to find a way to kill this talkback without going through 6 bench hours of totally deconstructing what one of these guys did for smoke and mirrors. You know, here's the problem with smoke and mirrors, guys. Every now and then you got to clean the mirrors, and somebody's going to see what you did. Well, look, somebody like me or me is going to see this and start calling you guys out. So I know this radio came from the Detroit area. So, you know, whoever in Detroit's doing this, stop it. You're an idiot. You're not an idiot. Maybe you just don't. I'm just mad right now because I did not inspect this radio hardcore before I did the stinger board conversion. And now it's going to cost me bench hours. Which, like I said, for this customer, I don't care. I'll give him all the bench time he needs because he's a damn good customer. But the problem is, when you guys buy these radios used, here's an example of what you could be buying. A big pile of over-engineered stupidity. All this is doing is taking up space. All this is doing is making it harder for a guy like me to get in here and repair the AM power regulator circuit later when one of these transistors right here goes out, which they always do. Okay? And then putting this big dumb diode in here that's not going to blow because it's got to be a freaking 10-20 amp diode. It's not going to blow. It's going to let the current go ahead through the rest of the radio and do what it does. It's going to rape it. So what did you do by putting a part in there that will not do its job? I don't understand. If you don't understand the circuit, stop it. I'm not a rocket scientist, but you know what? Common sense, guys. Come on. If you're going to tinker, if you're going to play, learn what's going on for real. Do realistic things to your radio. Don't waste space and money. These caps, somebody spent you could have bought the caps that belong in this radio for 1/10 of what they paid for these big dumb ones. This is all, oh, look what I put in your radio. This thing's going to scream now. You bought the Pinto, you drank the Kool-Aid. It's over with. You done did it. So, we're going to rip this out. This is going away. And we're going to start here first. And we're going to go ahead and put a 30 amp switch on power supply right in his radio. After I find a way to kill the talkback that won't go away, because somebody's gone in here and probably bridged the solder on the other side with all that sloppy solder work. So guys, okay, this is a damn nice little radio. It's Ranger 696F. And the guy who got it didn't, and I didn't realize what kind of stuff had been done to it. When I do these stinger board conversions, now you guys are hitting me so hard with them. I mean, it's not that we're rushing through them, but I don't stop and inspect. You know, if I turn the radio on and everything's working, it's on frequency, we just got to dial it in a little bit. I don't stop and look real hard at this stuff. Nobody does. I'm looking at the bottom side of this radio most of the time. But when it comes back blowed up a week later, I got to stop and say why. And then my fault in this was, and I'll tell you guys when I'm wrong, my fault in this was I knew the talkback wouldn't totally go away, but I didn't think it was going to be an issue, and the customer didn't mind. So we let it fly. Turns out it roached a $100 board. So now I got to find a way to either find what this person did. I'm just so mad right now. I want to say clown. I got to find what this person did that's causing the talkback to do what it does. And I got to make that go away. Even if I've got to bypass the speaker and make the talkback go away completely when he transmits, which is probably what I'm going to have to do. What we're probably going to have to do is put a keying circuit in here to shut the speaker off when he keys the microphone so that this thing has absolutely no chance of talking back through the rest of the radio. But we're going to try first to de-engineer this silliness, okay, and clean up all the bad solder work. Maybe, you know, I can't even de-engineer all this. It wouldn't even be effective for me to now take this radio backwards, because now there's been physical damage done to the board by drilling the holes big enough to put a freaking semi-diode in. You guys are killing me. Stop it. Start at the power supply. Then do realistic modification. These, you know, an MPC mod's fine. Freaking pair of 2312s. Make this thing scream like a virgin on freaking prom night. It's ridiculous. If you don't know what you're doing, stop doing it. You guys are tearing up real nice radios, and these radios aren't going to be around for much longer. The hobby's dying. And the reason the hobby's dying is because a lot of guys go out and they get raped by guys doing stupid shit like this, and they just don't want to mess with it no more. It's not a fun hobby anymore. Now he probably paid this guy $200 to put $10 worth of big stupid looking parts in his radio that didn't do anything for it one iota. This is our how not to video. Okay? Mr. 409 is a little aggravated right now. I'm aggravated at myself because I didn't stop and saw what I should have seen was going to be a problem. When you modify radios, guys, there are consequences. We've researched every radio we do. Okay? We know what the pros and cons are of putting these boards in different radios. And every radio we do, these come out. Or we leave these in and we mount, like the 2000, we put the 30 amp power supply in an external speaker, and we leave the power supply for the radio alone. Then the stinger board's only running on its own 30 amp power supply. That's the way that modification is done. Those radios scream. They scream unbelievably loud. I got them all over the place. This guy's getting ready to get one right over here in by University Park, Illinois. So look, guys, all I'm saying is, and something else, stop soldering the SWR bridges in. There's a reason these come out. These are test points. Okay? Now, a couple of them aren't labeled test points, but this comes out, and you can check these circuits for shorts, for leakage, for all kinds of craziness. But you need to be able to pull the damn bridge out. Okay? This is what that's supposed to look like right here. And this is made to just slide in there. You guys are soldering these things in and taking away the ability to work on a radio. if these things get wonky, first of all, there's no reason they should get wonky. The only reason these get wonky is because guys are pulling them in and out, trying to do stupid tricks to them. Unless you're diagnosing an AM power regulator circuit problem, you should not be dicking with this SWR bridge. Don't mess with it. If for some reason these clamps have come loose, pull the bridge out, tighten them down, and slide the bridge back in. You guys are killing me. Look, we're going to fix this one up. I'm going to do a video of it when it's done again. Because I didn't, you know what? I dropped, you know, the customer knows who he is. I dropped the ball on this one. I should have killed this talk back when we did your stinger board. But I'm going to take some time and we're going to fix it now. And it's not going to cost you a penny. But it's not going to blow up anymore when I'm done either. So, alright guys. You know, sometimes I just got to let it out. I get so many radios through here. And like I said, I'm not here. This is not my living. I do this as a hobby. I do this because I like working on radios. I quit doing this as a business 20 years ago. I got out of it because of stupid shit like this started happening. It wasn't worth it anymore. And you know and that's why now we just mainly do custom conversions and quick repairs on radios that are worth doing custom conversions on to prepare them for something better. This is we don't do a lot of repairs around here, and the reason is because there are too many guys doing this shit. There's too many people that have learned how to use the damn internet but didn't learn how to work on a freaking electronic circuit before they started clipping wires, adding caps, drilling holes for diodes, and putting stuff that didn't belong to begin with. So there's going to be a video to follow this. I'm going to leave this page up for a while. This is the how not to. Stop it. Freaking stop it. That's all I'm going to say.